Hey everybody, I'm Ian and this is my first video journal for the AP US History class at the Miami Valley School. So we were given an assignment to in some way make a video that shares a concept, an idea, or just some information that we found useful in the text. As of now, we are 8 chapters into our text. The American Pageant. This here's the 15th edition. So it's apparent that the authors, David M. Kennedy and Elizabeth Cohen, have something to offer other than common knowledge. So this is what I decided to focus on. The idea of common knowledge and what that really means to us. Now I guess it's common knowledge. What common knowledge is something that's accepted by a majority of people as the truth. It used to be common knowledge that the earth was flat, and there was plenty of evidence to support it, that one cannot see the curvature of the earth sitting on the ground, and it appears that the landscape extends on a single plane. However, it takes someone ambitious enough to sail to the east and end up in lands west of where they came from to usher in a whole new set of questions. And in our class, this is what we call the paradigm shift, a whole new way of thinking, asking not how long it takes for the Jupiter to revolve around the Earth, but whether or not Jupiter even revolves around the Earth, whether or not the Earth is the center of everything. Understand, though, that I'm not doing this to argue that some of the stories told by Kennedy and Cohen should be common knowledge. I think that as a scholar and as a student studying scholarly works, if we're trying to examine the impact of European encroachment on the Americas, it might be worth knowing that 90% of the 54 million inhabitants were wiped out by diseases, completely out of the mind of the Europeans. This is commonly referred to as the Black Legend, that Europeans came in, muskets in hand, and wiped out significant amounts of Indian military and civilian villages. However, it was simply biology, that they didn't have the antibodies to protect themselves from the European viruses. Another example of the common knowledge, or the general knowledge that I'm trying to address and maybe dispel a little bit, is the idea that the slavery that emerged in colonial America was driven by race, when race really wasn't on the forefront of people's minds, wasn't something that they really considered until the 20th century. The driver of slavery was the economy, that it was simply cheaper to hire a black slave and own the whole lineage in your family for a couple hundred years, rather than to hire an indentured servant. Now, I could spend a significant amount of time going through and offering some of the stories that contradict the general knowledge that is so widely accepted. However, I don't know if the time will be well spent when a significant amount of the knowledge doesn't have to be common. Common knowledge is so volatile and changes with social values, it changes with time and economic prosperity, and this is touched on in Kennedy and Cohen's text. Each chapter has a section called Varying Viewpoints, where they discuss the positions that scholars have taken throughout the years, where one may contradict another, and that new understanding becomes widely accepted until another one resorts back to the old way with new evidence. And it's an interesting way of presenting that how we view history. is far less involved in the facts and really about the story that we tell. If anyone can memorize that Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492, but why he sailed it and how he had the opportunity, that's the significant statement. While the purpose of my video is in no way to try and alter the public knowledge about colonial America or the development of the United States as a nation, I would like to offer to my fellow classmates and to anyone watching who is pursuing knowledge of any kind, seek out the uncommon knowledge. I think one of the strongest iterations of what I'm trying to get across here was made by a Shia philosopher and writer on spirituality, Idris Shah, who is quoted, "The more you look at common knowledge, the more you realize that it is more likely to be common than it is to be knowledge. No real knowledge is common." The way I see it, the reason we go to school is to eventually find answers to the questions that we aren't even asking yet. And that's the pursuit of uncommon knowledge that I encourage all of you to take part in. Well, I guess that's it. Thank you.